4,000 hours. That was the price of getting paid on YouTube. On the 10th of August, 2026, YouTube doubled it. From February 1st, 2027, a new channel needs 8,000 watch hours in a year, or 20 million shorts views in 90 days. 8,000 hours isn't really a number. It's 333 days of somebody watching, continuously, without sleeping. Nearly a calendar year of human attention before anyone gets paid anything. Take the other door and it's 222,000 shorts views every day for 90 days straight. Here's the thing that stopped me. Nothing about the work changed. The same video, the same hours, the same audience, worth exactly what it was worth the day before. What moved was the line. So today, where lines like this come from. Because YouTube didn't invent the waiting room, a London guild wrote the same rule in 1563, and a coal village wrote it again in the 1830s. Stay to the end for the one date every existing channel needs in their calendar before February. First, the part that matters most to anyone already watching this who makes videos. If your channel is already in the partner program, none of this touches you. You're grandfathered in. You don't lose anything. The new numbers apply to channels arriving after February 1st. That's worth saying out loud early, because a lot of people saw the headline and assumed the worst about a change that isn't aimed at them. So, the doors, 1,000 subscribers. That hasn't moved. Then either 8,000 qualified public watch hours over the previous 365 days, or 20 million qualified public shorts views over the previous 90. Watch hours mean long-form video that's actually public. Shorts views mean engaged views in the shorts feed, private, unlisted, deleted, or paid. None of it counts, and none of that is new. And there's a second, smaller door that most people don't know exists. 500 subscribers, 3 uploads in 90 days, and either 3,000 watch hours or 3 million shorts views. That gets you memberships, super thanks, shopping, money from your audience rather than from advertising. That door did not move. Not by a single hour. Hold on to that because we're coming back to it. Let's make 8,000 hours physical, because as a figure on a screen it means nothing. Spread across a year, it's 22 hours of watch time a day. Every day. Not 22 hours of uploading. 22 hours of other people, somewhere, choosing to watch and staying. If your videos run 10 minutes and people watch half, that's around 260 of them finishing what they started. Today. Then again, tomorrow. The shorts door is a different kind of hard. 222,000 views a day is a rate, and rates don't bank. 90 days is a rolling window, so every morning the oldest day drops off the back. You don't climb toward it, you stand in it. Now, this is the part I actually want to talk about, because the number is new, and the shape of it is very, very old. England, 1563. The Statute of Artificers. If you wanted to work as a shoemaker, a weaver, a smith, anything with a name, you served an apprenticeship first. 7 years. That was the law, and during those 7 years you weren't idle. You made shoes, real shoes, sold to real customers, at the front of a real shop. The work was genuine from about year 2. The wage arrived in year 8. The guild's argument was reasonable, and it wasn't a lie. Standards. Bad shoes hurt everyone with a shop on that street. 7 years produced a shoemaker you could trust. Fair enough. But look at what the rule also did, whether or not anyone designed it to. It set a line. Below the line, your output existed and your pay didn't. Above it, you were in. And the people who drew the line were the people already standing on the far side of it. That's the pattern. Not a conspiracy, a shape. It turns up again and again in places that have nothing to do with each other. British coal and iron villages, early 1800s. The truck system. Wages paid in company scrip, spendable only at the company store. Parliament spent decades passing truck acts trying to kill it, which tells you how well it worked for the people running it. Then there's one that's still running. London, and a thing called the knowledge. Since 1865, to drive a black cab in London, you have to learn the city. Not roughly, properly. Something like 25,000 streets inside 6 miles of Charing Cross, and 320 set routes you can be asked to recite from memory, turn by turn, in order. It takes most people 3 to 4 years. You'll see them on mopeds in the rain, clipboards strapped to the handlebars, driving the same street for the 4th time to make it stick. And for those 3 or 4 years, you are not a cab driver. You're a person learning streets. And here's what I find genuinely hard to argue with. It works. A London cabbie can route you across a city that was never planned, in traffic, without looking. The qualifying period produces something real, which is the honest problem with all of this. The line isn't fake. 7 years did make better shoemakers. 4 years does make better cab drivers. The line is doing a real job. And it's also deciding, for 3 or 4 years at a time, who works without being paid for it. Both of those are true at once, and neither cancels the other. And the version you've probably lived through yourself, the unpaid internship. Real work, real deliverables, real value to the business. Reclassified as training, which is the word we use when work happens before the qualifying period ends. Every one of these had a defensible reason. Standards, training, quality. Some of those reasons were completely true. That's what makes the shape interesting rather than sinister. You don't need anyone to be acting badly. You just need a line and someone with the authority to decide where it sits. So here's what happened in August 2026, stated as plainly as I can manage. A channel sitting at 3,900 hours is doing something. The audience is real. The watch time is real. Under the old rule, that channel was almost there. Under the new one, it's halfway. The videos didn't get worse overnight. The audience didn't leave. The line moved. And I want to be careful here because there's an obvious angry version of this video, and I don't think it's the honest one. Remember that second door. 500 subscribers, 3,000 watch hours, untouched. If the only goal were keeping people out, that door moves too. It didn't. Somebody, in some room, argued for leaving it exactly where it was. That's a real fact, and it belongs in the story. There's one more change, and it's the one I find most interesting, because it changes what monetization is. To keep earning from the shorts pool, a channel needs 10 million qualified shorts views over the previous 90 days, on an ongoing basis. Drop below it and you don't get thrown out. You stay in the partner program, you keep earning from long form, and shorts payouts simply pause. Cross back over and they resume automatically. There's also an activity floor to stay active at all. 1,000 watch hours in a year, or 1 million shorts views in 90 days, or just 2 long-form uploads, or 5 shorts every 90 days. Which is gentle, honestly. But notice what all of it does together. Monetization stops being a thing you achieved and becomes a thing you're currently maintaining. A status with a heartbeat. And before I go further, we're not telling you which door to walk through. We don't know your channel, your audience, or your life. This isn't advice and it isn't a strategy. All we ever do here is take the machine apart and show you the pieces. What you do with that is entirely your call. Now, the case for the wall, and there is one. Advertisers buy against inventory they trust. Consistency is hard to verify at scale, and a payout system with no floor drowns in administration long before it runs out of money. A threshold is the cheapest tool that solves all three at once, none of which explains why the number doubled rather than moved. But "We don't know why it's that number" is a more honest place to stand than pretending we do. And the date, as promised. Every existing partner has to review and accept updated terms in YouTube Studio by January 31st, 2027. That's it. That's the whole task. If you're in the program, go and do it, and then stop worrying about the rest of this, because it isn't aimed at you. We've spent 3 videos now on the same quiet shape. A raise that was really a pay cut. A second income that bought the same house, and now an hour of work that counts for exactly what it always did, until somebody moves the line it's measured against. None of those needed a villain. That's what I keep finding. The tutor guilds genuinely wanted better shoes. YouTube genuinely wants channels advertisers can rely on. The mechanism doesn't require anyone to be scheming. It only requires that the line exists and that the people who draw it are standing on the far side. 8,000 hours is a lot of somebody's attention. 333 days of it. Whether that's the right price of admission isn't really ours to settle from here, but it's worth knowing it's a price. And it's worth knowing it can move. Watch for the silent one.